Hello everybody, this is Cool Old Bass Video Part 1. So, before Fender invented the electric bass in 1951, everybody dragged around these big doghouse basses. And Fender's invention of the electric bass changed everything. Think about it. If you had to drag this around from gig to gig, amplify it with a microphone, even running through one of their legendary amplifiers, it's just a pain in the butt. Fender invented the precision bass, which meant it was fretted in 1951. It was single coil, and then they developed soon after the hum canceling pickup with these two split coils. That is still today the most legendary thing I think Fender did. Yes, the broadcaster, Telecaster, that really did change rock and roll, but what really changed bands was this. Why? Because bands in the late 40s, early 50s, post-World War II, everybody was getting over World War II, the economy was starting to churn, and audiences got bigger and bigger and bigger, and you had to broadcast to the back of the room. A lot of these bands made their money being dance bands, and there's nothing like a bass guitar to get people to dance. So that really was their finest hour, in my opinion. Getting old Fender basses is something we're having a hard time doing. So I'm kind of excited to present some of these old basses to you. We have some legendary basses. This is an old Fender P bass, precision bass, and we would like to buy yours. Especially in sunburst and rosewood board. That's kind of the classic color. All right, to start with, I've got this 1966 P bass. Now, Fender made necks in four sizes: A, B, C, D. A was a very skinny neck. B is the standard neck. 90% of all Fender instruments, whether it's a Strat, Tele, Jaguar, P bass, jazz bass, they stamped it right down there inside. The neck was stamped the width, and B was what most of them are. This is a rare C neck. It's a little wider. Pre-CBS, Fender basses had all C necks. They were all C necks. They were all this wider thing to better simulate a stand-up bass for people. And this one is rare for that. A 66, they're almost all B necks, and they're smaller than this. If you like the feel of a pre-CBS P bass, this is it. Brazilian rosewood fingerboard. And this one is rare because it's a one-sheet alder body. Now, it's very lightweight. This being a one-sheet body is kind of a big deal. And I'll explain. Every guitar, every piece of wood has a resonant frequency. Pretty much anything you tap has a knock, knock, nick, knock, 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 a resonant frequency of some type. If you match two pieces of wood, they're going to have two resonant frequencies going on. That could be good, it could be bad. But to find a guitar that has one sheet, that's fairly rare. Think about your backyard, the trees that you might see anywhere in a park or a backyard. After you cut away all the bark and cut away all the green wood on the outside, you're not left with a lot of depth that you can cut a lot of mature pieces of wood out of. So finding a single sheet, especially lightweight, is rather rare. And if I can illuminate with this more modern 1979 Strat, you can see here that this Strat has 1, 2, 3. Also, that they made sure that this middle piece is always over the string plane, that they never had one piece on one string plane and another piece on another. That was something Leo Fender was pretty insistent about. So even pre-CBS instruments, when they do laminate the wood on and glue it on, it's usually off to the side and off the plane. Modern day guitars usually will cut it in the middle because it looks better, but they're forgetting about these resonant frequencies in the wood. So whenever you can find a single sheet, 50s, 60s, 70s, it's usually a premium for that. Why? Tone. It's all about the old wood, let's face it. You're buying old wood that is just plain no longer available. So this is a 1969 P bass, and this too is a single sheet body. Now the interesting thing on this, I just got this in. This is a not ash, it's not alder, it's either poplar or it could be Carina wood. and we haven't taken it apart to look yet, but it has no laminated line. It's one sheet of wood, and it's really clean. And the cool thing about P basses is get that really woody sound out of it. You can know a P bass as soon as somebody plugs it in. You've heard a P bass a million times. It is kind of the standard. 10 years ago, jazz basses were more popular. Now, P basses are really what people come in looking for, and I can't keep them in stock. So, especially finding one single sheet body clean like this, and older Fender basses with lacquer finish like these are just fantastic to find. Now I'm going to close this by playing this really cool Fiesta Red jazz bass and let you listen to the difference tone-wise. So, these, because of the smaller pickups, they have a narrow aperture and they tend to be a little brighter, a little crisper. So the narrower a pickup is, the narrower the magnetic field is, and they tend to be a little brighter. Okay, 1965 Fiesta Red jazz bass. I'm going to close it on that, and we're going to come back later for bass video do.